Bit annoying this.
Yes. But Sky and BT have had problems for a couple of days, so... Okay, now I'm in my own correct stream.
System alert. Performing an area sweep. That object is not registered to your error. Employee information. Error. Transfer request not found. Registered. A fine.
Hello.
Hello.
That's the last of them.
Oh, Charlie managed to jump up on the bed and headbutt me and get in the way. Must be feeling better. Oh, hello, mate.
How's you?
Alright. Hey, Charlie Cat. Your leg sticks out funny.
Charlie.
Yep. If you can hear him purring. He's managed to get up onto the bed the last couple of nights, so he must be feeling
Let's
better.
go, troops. Stellar base counting on us.
Why are they fighting against me? When I took their side. Maybe I did something wrong. I don't know. Let's reload and find out. You don't help getting in the way, do you, Cat?
You should avoid the bullets.
Yes, probably should.
What do you think of the Lib Dem manifesto?
I haven't looked at it yet. I was going to do that tomorrow. Because we should get the Labour one tomorrow as well.
Okay, cool.
go, troops. Stellar base counting on us.
Okay, now they're on my side. I guess that's how the alliance stuff's worked. I must have shot them accidentally. Just let them do the heavy lifting then, don't want to accidentally shoot them again.
Their economic policies seem fine, but their social policies are a load of leftist paranoid ravings.
See, you say that, but I don't know what you mean by leftist in this instance. Because a lot of what gets called leftist, I wouldn't agree is these days. Is it censorious? Is it, you know, what's the dealio?
Are you new here? I didn't think
Like the wage gap and full-blown crazy down LGBT stuff.
I'll have to look at it to judge.
Oh, no.
Hey Chuck, you just lay down there.
That's the last of them.
And we're stalking. And we're stalking.
They also want to make hate crimes aggravated offenses and condemn inflammatory rhetoric.
That sounds like a bit too much, because it's who judges? That's the problem.
Something about you doesn't look right. No, I meant your uniform.
My Tory candidate claimed that Jews who visited Israel were being brainwashed.
Oi.
The Lib Dems accused the Labour MP of being anti-Jews as he didn't condemn it. When I say leftist, I mean the sort of stuff you expect to see on Tumblr.
Yeah, it's not really left-wing, but yeah, these days it calls itself
He
that.
is Jewish. You need to have a word to separate left wing from the crazy left.
Yeah.
I use leftist.
Well,
Crazy
look who it
works
is.
with.
I'll be damned. I was prepping the studio for our announcement, and here you are as a bonus. Ah, I knew I smelled Monarch when you lot walked in. The stench of sulfur, depression, and desperate bravado is unmistakable.
I'm gonna shoot you in the
talking,
ass.
and you'll be smelling iron. Ain't nobody so important I won't put a bullet in.
And the convict, the vicar. You know, most people, once they're out of prison, don't seem keen on returning.
Oh, I would go anywhere to see you fall, sir.
When you go off and get yourself shot, try to avoid taking one to the face. I'll want it.
Some people think Swinen is a yellow Tory.
She has moved the party to the right a bit, but still better than the Tories. And anti-Brexit, which frankly is all that matters this time round.
My word! You've correctly identified the most recognizable man in the colony. Remarkable. It's a wonder what Phineas saw in you. Then again, he's an insane person. Thankfully, he's our insane person now. A proper company man. Yes, he is an extraordinarily obstinate fellow, isn't he? Fine, he isn't working for us per se.
I
Semantics
actually
of the
like
line.
most of what is in their policies
that's
except
between
for the insane
As far as
social
my adoring
policies.
citizens
It's a
will
huge
know,
shame.
We've turned a dangerous crackpot
Well,
into
they're
a
not gonna
working-class man.
win,
It's a
so
miracle.
at best they'll get into coalition with somebody, and then they'll have to moderate their policies, and they'll moderate whoever they ally with in return.
They could in my area.
Yes, go on, wake them up. Add more mouths to feed. That'll solve our starvation
Yeah, but that doesn't
problems.
mean much.
I don't know what half-baked plans that simpleton in a lab coat has been leading you through, but it's done. It's over. Let me ask you something, Captain. Have you at any point thought about not fucking up our entire society?
I believe we could ask you the same.
I'm making actual progress towards stabilization and recovery. You're just getting in the way. If I and my people can ride it out in luxury and happiness, yes, I would. I don't know if you've noticed, Captain, but Halcyon's pretty much a lost cause. We'll have to agree to disagree on that one, Captain. Now, if you don't mind, I have to finish prepping this script.
Fuck that guy.
If only you had a slightly higher speech skill.
Yeah, slightly. Unfortunately, I don't seem to be leveling anymore. I didn't realise there was a cap quite so low.
All right, MSI. I'm not one for rousing speeches, but the captain needs our help. So get in there and fight!
Got MSI on our side as well. See, being nice and lovely to people really paid off. Well, I made really short work of these guys.
Everything in my life has been leading up to this point. I believe I am ready for this.
Take a breath now, folks. Once we're out there, expect we ain't gonna have time to stop shooting.
Captain, you have an uncanny talent for complicating my life. You've disrupted the balance of power. You've upset the natural order of things. You've introduced uncertainty, and there is nothing I despise more than uncertainty. I'm afraid I can't do that. You have a flair for subtlety. If you'd worked for me, you would have been the greatest fixer Halcyon has ever seen. For all your talents, you are the enemy of Halcyon, and therefore you are my enemy. You make a nuanced and compelling argument. Here's my rebuttal. No. Dr. Wells is being held in my custody. His cooperation will prove invaluable, even if I have to beat it out of him. All that's left to do is put down this riot, arrest you, and then get on with the bloody business of saving this colony.
Shush your beak.
Fair enough. I'm giving you exactly one chance to parley with me. Yes, I'm quite aware of your brazen act of corporate vandalism. By the way, those test subjects you killed, they died in agony.
For the greater good.
My scientists assure me they can recover the data you've destroyed. You've succeeded in temporarily delaying our research. Nothing more. That isn't true. It can't be. You're trying to manipulate me. That experiment was absolutely essential to the program. My scientists assured me they were close to a breakthrough. They gave me their word. Don't you mock me. I won't stand here listening to you gloat. We're going to have to start all over again. All that research, all those experiments, you've set us back decades. You were always an unknown variable. I tried to recruit you, but you threw your lot in with that madman, Phineas Wells. This prison is equipped with an automechanical warden. I've had it programmed to eliminate you on sight and rinse your remains down a drain. And don't worry. I will inform Dr. Wells that you died heroically, or something.
So, there's a boss battle. To be expected, I suppose. Could have sworn my skill was high enough.
Security.
We've got a fight on our hands.
That's a lot of guard rods.
I hate it with mini this, total pain.
Damn it.
Has been terminated. Security threat eliminated.
You can use weak spot during slow time to shoot that blue container and make it drop guard. Should have leveled up shoot bangs more. I wanted to say level up these nuts. I've been around teenagers too much. Don't expect it to be easy in the final stages.
all right?
Okay. Don't get distracted is the key.
If you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a drone.
Why won't you just die?
Get me out of here!
Yeah, in a sec. No shiny blaggables. I guess it's the end of the game, so I don't need them.
You don't know how glad I am to see you. You did the right thing. Akande was a monster. Her death was much deserved, and long overdue. And you lunatic, you broke into the board's own fortress just to rescue one doddering old man. You are absolutely out of your mind, and I can't begin to thank you enough.
Wow, she died super easily.
Vicar killed her with his flamethrower, I think.
I'm all right, thanks to you. Akande wanted my cooperation. I'm quite sure she would have beaten it out of me if you hadn't arrived. You've broken the board's stranglehold on this colony, and you
Any
saved
streams
my
with
life.
Venger coming up
But
soon?
there's still so much we have to
Don't know.
accomplish.
A moment.
You and I are going to have to work harder than ever to save Halcyon. I'm afraid the situation is far worse than any of us ever anticipated. Earth has gone dark. We haven't received a single message in 3 years. There's been no communication, no signals, nothing. 2 years ago, the Earth's Directorate's frigate disappeared on their way back to Earth. We don't know what they discovered when they arrived, or if they arrived at all.
So we've got to make do on our own. Seems to me that'll make us stronger in the end anyhow.
You're quite right. We've got no choice but to make do on our own.
Earth is only an idea to us, but that idea is the bedrock the colony is built upon. If people were to find out it's gone dark, the shock could be too much to bear.
I don't want to imagine what'll happen once news gets out. Let's just keep this between us for now. We're in serious trouble, my friend. Do you know what this means for Halcyon? We can't rely on Earth for support anymore. We've been cut loose. We're entirely on our own. Yes, we do. You've done a marvelous thing. You've succeeded where anyone else would have failed, including me. We must begin the revival process immediately, starting with the hope's brightest minds, and then we're going to fix this damn colony, one problem at a time. We're going to need a leader, and I can't imagine a better person for the job than you. What do you say, old friend? Will you help us? When I revived you, I thought you were going to help me save this colony. I was wrong. I had our roles reversed, you see. You're the one who's going to save us all. I'm just the one who set you on your path. You're the best thing to ever happen to Halcyon. If you want to take it upon yourself to lead this colony, you have my support. We're not a colony any longer, are we? Our last connection to Earth has been severed, and so we have been set free. Our future is uncertain, and no one knows what tomorrow holds. Exciting, isn't it?
The OSI teaches that everything in the universe happens according to the grand plan. But the stranger that arrived in Halcyon
I'm in bed in a
was an
hotel in
unplanned
Birmingham and the guy I'm sharing a room
From
with
the
is
moment he
snoring
landed
really
in Emerald
loudly.
Vale, his actions altered the course of history. The events on Tartarus brought about the end of the board's authority. But the board's mistakes would haunt the colony for decades to come. The damage they left behind would require the work of a generation to repair. Dr. Phineas Wells began reviving a handful of the Hope's colonists. Engineers, scientists, technicians, and intellectuals. They were among the brightest minds the Earth had ever sent out into the stars. The Hope scientists and engineers woke up in a colony descending headlong into total collapse. With no way to return to Earth, they had no choice but to band together and devote themselves to the cause of saving Halcyon. The people of Halcyon were nothing if not hardy. In the absence of the board's authority, many of the colony's settlements banded together with a single purpose in mind: survival. Life was especially hard in the years to come. Some towns dissolved by attrition and starvation.
So I'm watching this live stream purely to block out the noise.
In the years
Glad
to
to
come,
be of service.
Halcyon was forced to reckon with its newfound freedom. The board was gone, and for better or worse, the colony was responsible for its own destiny. Between MSI's worker-centric policies and the iconoclast's manpower, Sanjar and Zora were able to rally many of the Terra 2 townships to their cause. MSI's workforce swelled, and the iconoclasts enjoyed a significant surge in their ranks. The board was too distracted by infighting and internal politics to stop MSI from becoming a powerful corporation and a refuge for townships that might have fallen through the cracks. Consumed by paranoia, Lilia Hagen took Sublight Salvage in a controversial direction.
We know you're
openly
really
accusing
just here
board
for the
officials of an
Parvati Junpei love.
extraterrestrial conspiracy. One day, an accident at the Groundbreaker's docking bay silenced her forever. Time would tell if a replacement could keep the Sublight family together. The collapse of Edgewater left its workers bereft of any purpose in life. Most of them made their way to Adelaide McDevitt's camp, hoping to ingratiate themselves into her favor. Adelaide accepted only a few to her community. The rest were turned away and likely died of starvation. Nevertheless, Adelaide's camp grew into a well-established town. Adelaide McDevitt refused to cooperate with the ongoing effort to save Halcyon from collapse. A sympathetic deserter stole a copy of her research and delivered it to the Hope's scientists. It is unclear how useful Adelaide's research was. An optimistic estimate suggests her work may have bought Halcyon another few years of survival. Adelaide would never know. She died that winter.
Maybe I could sleep in the bath.
Under the leadership of Junlei Tennyson, the Groundbreaker held firm against corporate influence. The ship's mechanical stability gave Junlei the time to educate a promising generation of engineers schooled in her family's traditions. The future of the Groundbreaker looks promising. The rediscovery of the Hope and the abandonment of the lifetime employment program forced Byzantium to come to terms with some uncomfortable realities about the state of Halcyon. While Byzantines were reluctant to surrender the luxuries they'd grown accustomed to, the board's diminished authority gave them little choice in the matter. Nearly everyone had to learn to make do with less. Some even had to get jobs. It was a dark time indeed. Your influence shifted Ellie's perspective. She finally admitted, albeit grudgingly, that she just might need other people. Sometimes. With a steady income from the life insurance payouts, she was finally able to afford a ship of her own. She hired a small crew and flew supply missions to communities on the fringe. Some of them were even legal.
Speaking of Parvati, isn't asexual supposed to mean you don't need a mate to reproduce?
The Grand Revolution
Biology wasn't my subject.
There was no
that's
great
right.
awakening for the colony, no celebrations in the streets. There was only the hard, desperate work of trying to repair a broken colony. Felix never had a head for numbers, but if there was labor to be done, he was there to help. Eventually, Felix realized that the work of a revolution was done with two hands. As much as he enjoyed his adventures aboard the Unreliable, the vicar, known as Max, eventually decided that it was time to move on, to live out the life he had sought so long to create. He knew there were many in the colony who carried burdens much worse than the ones he had struggled with, and he devoted himself to easing their suffering wherever he could. He only ever took up arms again to defend the defenseless. Unshackled from a lifetime of striving and fighting the universe and himself, Vicar Maximilian de Soto was finally at peace. Once the matter with the Hope colonists was resolved, Junlei bashfully asked Parvati if she'd like to join her permanently on the Groundbreaker, and Parvati enthusiastically, if somewhat awkwardly, agreed. The stories of her adventures spread across the colony, and Parvati soon found herself the center of attention. Having served as the engineer of a renowned spacecraft, tramp freighters and wildcat miners sought her out by name. And in no time, she was a fixture in the Groundbreaker's mechanical ecosystem.
So like, what's wrong with them just saying, my libido broke?
To Monarch to take another crack at making a permanent life for herself.
I guess.
She formed the Charon Group, a mercenary outfit of ragtag survivalists and wilderness experts. Anyone in need of a guide, or just looking to throw back a beer and swap stories, could find her camping on the trail, or clearing an infestation. The SAM unit that accompanied you spread awareness of the product line's superior sanitation and maintenance capabilities across what was left of the colony. This led to a boost in SAM unit sales. Did you know that SAM units are the longest-lasting, toughest-acting cleaning solution in Halcyon? Minister Clark was released from house arrest, and his contact with you gave him a sense of renewed purpose and vigor. Once it became clear that no help would be coming from Earth, he threw his considerable efforts and talents into helping Halcyon manage the crisis before it. As for Dr. Phineas Wells, he spent
It's not even fault, there's nothing wrong with it, it's just abnormal. Nobody is allowed to be abnormal anymore.
Forgive the mistakes of his younger self by devoting his remaining years to serving the colony. Dr. Wells was able to revive many more scientists and engineers than he first expected, thanks to the additional batch of chemicals you stole from the Ministry. Wells never forgot about the human lives that were lost in acquiring these chemicals. In the end, Dr. Wells was able to save every scientist and engineer aboard the Hope. Over the next decade, nearly all of the Hope's remaining colonists were successfully revived. Halcyon saw a period of rapid technological and scientific advancement. Breakthroughs in dietary supplements saved the colony from starvation. Geoengineering projects and social reforms began to change the structure and character of the colony. Dr. Wells laid the groundwork for the project to save the colony, but he would never live to see the fruits of his labor. He passed away a few years later. His work was carried on by the scientists and engineers he revived. Today, Halcyon has stabilized. The people of the colony work hard to adapt to their new circumstances. Nearby colonies send aid and supplies. Life will never be easy in Halcyon, but for the first time in its history, there exists a sense of real, genuine hope about the future. And what about you? The unplanned variable in the history of Halcyon. Long after Wells passed away, you carried on his work with more energy, determination, and brilliance than he could ever muster. The years that followed were hard, but Halcyon survived by the efforts of the Hope's most promising colonists, the greatest of which was you. No one knows what's happened to Earth, and no one knows what the future has in store for Halcyon. All we know for certain is this: the name of the Unreliable and that of its intrepid captain will remain the subject of countless stories for years to come.
Oh, blessed, that was good. Right, so much for that. New game next time. See you then. With the snoring, throw a pillow at them and then desperately try to get to sleep before they wake up. Oh, sorry.
I'm glad you liked
before they
it.
start snoring again. That's what you need to do. Just interrupt them, then quickly get to sleep. Right. See you later.